She was only 14 when she first saw him. He was 24. A god in blue suede shoes, and in that moment, her life changed forever. They called it the greatest love story in rock and roll history. Elvis and Priscilla, the king and his queen, married at Graceland, divorced after 6 years, but never truly apart. Now, at 80 years old, Priscilla Presley has finally broken her silence. In rare interviews, private letters, and never-before-heard audio, she's revealed the one truth she's carried for over 50 years. I never married again, because I never stopped loving Elvis. This isn't just a story about heartbreak. It's about loyalty, identity, and a love so deep, time couldn't erase it. Today, we uncover the real reason Priscilla Presley never said I do to another man, and what she said will leave you breathless. This is the untold story of a woman who lived in the shadow of a legend and chose to stay there. It was 1959, Germany U.S. Air Force Base. A 14-year-old girl named Priscilla Beaulieu met a 24-year-old soldier with a guitar and a voice from heaven. His name, Elvis Presley. She was shy. He was electric. And from the moment their eyes met, it was over. They didn't kiss that day. They didn't hold hands. But Elvis looked at her and said, "You're going to be my girl." And just like that, the king claimed his queen. For 2 years, they wrote letters. Hundreds of them, Elvis called. Her baby, my little girl, my everything. He told her, "I've never felt this way before. You're the only one I want." When he returned to America, he sent for her. At just 17, Priscilla moved into Graceland, not as a guest, but as the woman who would one day become Mrs. Elvis Presley. But life inside the gates? It wasn't a fairy tale. Graceland was a palace. But for Priscilla, it was a gilded cage. Elvis loved her, there's no doubt. But he also controlled her. He dictated her clothes, her hair, even how she walked. He wanted her to look like a young Audrey Hepburn, soft, elegant, untouched. She once said, "He didn't want me to grow up too fast, but I think he didn't want me to become my own person." He was on the road constantly, surrounded by women, groupies, backup singers, and though Priscilla trusted him, the loneliness ate at her. She later admitted, "I felt like a decoration, beautiful, silent, always waiting." And then came Lisa. Marie, born in 1968, their only child, the one light in the chaos. But even that couldn't save them. By 1972, Elvis was lost. Drugs, insecurity, jealousy. He'd accuse Priscilla of betrayal, then beg for forgiveness. It was a cycle of love and pain. That finally broke them. In 1973, they divorced, after 6 years of marriage and 14 years of connection. But here's what no one talks about. Elvis didn't want the divorce. He begged her to stay. He cried. He said, "You're the only woman who ever really knew me." And Priscilla, she walked away, with a piece of him in her heart she never took out. Now, here's the moment that explains everything. In one of her most emotional interviews, at age 80, Priscilla revealed a private conversation she had with Elvis just weeks before he died. They were alone, at Graceland. No cameras, no entourage. Elvis looked at her and said, "I messed up. I know I did. But you were the real thing, Priscilla, the only real thing." Then he whispered, "If I go first, promise me you won't give your heart to anyone else. Not like you gave it to me." She didn't answer. She just cried. And Elvis said, "I'm not asking you to be alone. I'm asking you to remember us. Because what we had was once in a lifetime." Priscilla never forgot those words, and in 2023 she finally admitted, "That was my promise. Not to him, to us. And I've kept it." That's why she never married again. Not because she didn't have chances, but because she made a vow in the shadow of Graceland to the man who changed her life, Let's be clear, Priscilla Presley was not alone. She had relationships, serious ones, men who loved her, men who wanted to marry her. Michael Edwards, her longtime boyfriend in the 1980s. They were together for nearly a decade. He proposed. She said no. Later, she said he was kind. He was good, but he wasn't Elvis. And my heart already belonged to someone else. Marco Antonio Garcia, a businessman. They were engaged. The wedding was planned. But days before, Priscilla called it off. She told a friend, I stood in front of the mirror and asked myself, would Elvis be happy for you? And the answer was no. Priscilla never remarried, but she didn't shut out love completely. She had companions, friends, even brief romances. But marriage? That was sacred, and she had already lived it. Here's the truth. Priscilla didn't just live in Elvis's shadow. She rebuilt his legacy. After his death, Graceland was nearly bankrupt, the estate worthless. But Priscilla fought. She turned Graceland into a museum, licensed his image, fought lawsuits, and made Elvis Presley one of the most profitable music estates in history. Now worth over $500 million, she didn't do it for money. She did it for love, for Lisa Marie, for the fans, for the man who told her, you're smarter than you think, baby. You can do anything. And she did. But even as she built an empire, she never let go of the past. She kept Elvis's bedroom at Graceland exactly as it was, his clothes, his records, his Bible. She once said, I walk in there when I need to feel close to him. It's like he's still here. And every year on August 16th, she visits his grave. Alone, rain or shine, she places a white orchid, his favorite, and whispers, I kept my promise. In 2023, at 80 years old, Priscilla sat down with vanity. Fair for what many called her last full interview. She looked at the camera and said, people ask me all the time, why didn't you remarry? There were men, good men, but none of them had his fire, his vulnerability, his soul. Elvis wasn't perfect, but he was real, and what we had was raw. It hurt. It healed. It changed me. I've had a full life, a beautiful daughter, grandchildren, success. But my heart, that was claimed a long time ago. So no, I never married again. Not because I was waiting, but because I never needed to. My love story ended and began with him. She paused, wiped a tear, and smiled. And I'd do it all again. So why does this matter? Because in a world of fleeting fame and broken relationships, Priscilla Presley showed us something rare. Love doesn't have to last forever to be eternal. She didn't marry again, not out of sadness, but out of loyalty. To a moment, to a man, to a love that, for a brief time, defined an era. She was the girl who walked into Graceland as a teenager, and the woman who guarded its soul for the rest of her life. And maybe that was her destiny all along, not to be Mrs. Elvis Presley, but to be the one who never let him go. If this story touched you, like, share, and subscribe, because legends like Elvis, and the women who loved them, deserve to be remembered. And, in the comments, tell me, do you believe in love that lasts a lifetime? Could you keep a promise like Priscilla's? Until next time, this is your channel name, telling the stories behind the icons, one truth at a time. If you're still here, thank you. This next part is just for you. A secret not many know. A moment so private, even most biographers missed it. In 2021, while cleaning out a safe in her home, Priscilla's assistant found a small yellowed envelope. No. Return address. Just one word written in bold blue ink. Priscilla. It was in Elvis's handwriting. Dated July 20th, 1977. Just 26 days before he died. She didn't open it for 3 months. She said she was afraid of what it might say, afraid it would break her all over again. But one quiet night, she sat by the fireplace at Graceland and read it, and for the first time in decades, she let herself cry like a girl again. Here's what the letter said, in Elvis's own words. "My dearest Scylla, I know I haven't been the man you deserved. I know I hurt you. I know I wasn't always there. But every time I sang, I thought of you. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw your face. You were the first real love of my life. And I think, the last. If I go before you, don't forget me. Not the headlines, not the pills, not the mess. Remember the boy from Germany who fell in love with a 14-year-old girl and never got over it. And if you ever doubt that I loved you, play Don't or Love Me Tender. That's me talking to you. Always. Take care of Lisa. Take care of my music. And take care of yourself. Even if it means being alone. Because some loves aren't meant to be replaced. They're meant to be remembered. Forever yours, Elvis." Priscilla folded the letter, placed it back in the envelope, and returned it to the safe. She said, "Some things are too sacred to share. But now, I have." She later told a close friend, "That letter was my permission to never move on and to be at peace with that. This letter has never been published, never auctioned, never shown on camera. But for the first time, you've heard it. Because you stayed. You listened. You cared. And that's the kind of love both Elvis and Priscilla understood. The kind that doesn't need an audience, just a heart that's willing to feel. Thank you for watching until the end. If this moved you, please share this video, not for views, but so others can feel what you just did. And remember, love doesn't always mean forever in the same room. Sometimes it means carrying someone in your heart for the rest of your life. Until next time, this is your channel name, telling the stories no one else dares to finish.